Well, an allergy to peanuts can be a lifelong struggle, always having to be vigilant about what you eat. Imagine the stress for parents. Well, big news recently came out with new guidelines for introducing peanut products to infants, and the guidelines may actually prevent a peanut allergy altogether. So here to break it all down, we have Dr. Roger Friedman with Ohio ENT and Allergy Physicians. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Robin. Great to be seen.
All right, so set this up for us, right? Because these new guidelines, we've always been told for years, don't give peanuts to your kids.
That's right. But the whole world has changed. And
Okay.
the world changed about 2 years ago. And we've been on and talked a little bit about it before, but now we finally have the official NIH guidelines and the National Institute of Allergy and Immunology guidelines of what to do, because we now can prevent peanut allergies.
And that's huge.
Huge. This has become a big problem throughout the country and throughout the world. And it has tremendous impact on children, on families, on health, and just on state of being for everybody.
And this was a big 5-year study, so there's research behind it. They took everything into context and kind of, now this is what they've come up with, right?
So, correct. And this was what we called the LEAP study. And the LEAP study was learning to eat peanuts early. And what happened was, an allergist in Israel named Gideon Lack noticed that the children in Israel had a very low incidence of peanut allergy compared to the children he took care of in England and children in America. And what he noted was that the children in Israel very early in life ate peanut butter. They ate a peanut product called bamba, which was a dissolving peanut protein, but they had a significant decrease in peanut allergies than anybody else did. And he then started this 5-year study. It was actually published about 2 years ago, and he showed a way to prevent peanut allergies.
Okay, so let's get into it, because there are portions to these guidelines that you kind of have to weigh depending on your child and what their situation is, right?
That's right. That's
okay, so
right.
Starting out kind of 4 to 6 months range, but if your kid has these following issues, what do you do?
Okay, so if a child is at high risk for peanut allergy, and by the definition of our new guidelines, the high risk includes 2 main groups. Number 1, if a child has severe eczema, or number 2, if they already have developed egg allergy.
Okay.
If we have that group, that high risk group, we know now that introducing peanuts early in life to them, if they're not yet allergic, can dramatically decrease their incidence of food allergy, of peanut allergy. So what those children are, those ones should definitely be referred to a specialist, and in the first 4 to 6 or 8 months of life, be allergy tested, especially to peanuts. If they are negative, we then recommend instituting peanut into their diet. Now, when I say peanut, it means peanut butter, peanut protein, not a whole peanut, because we know that there's still the terrible problem with choking and stuff with nuts and peanuts in young children. So talking about peanut butter, peanut protein, something that's dissolvable, and we've shown we're able to decrease the incidence of peanut allergy by doing this by 85%.
Oh my gosh.
Tremendous change.
And not having to go through that stress of having a child unable to deal with that when they're in school and all those different
Absolutely.
things.
And again, there's a few caveats, and we're still trying to sort out. These guidelines are excellent. They're really important. They still may miss a few things, as we know with any guidelines. And we're still trying to sort out if they're coming from a family where mom has peanut allergies or siblings have peanut allergies, exactly what to do with that group. Most likely we're going to evaluate them early also, because the early introduction is what matters.
Okay, and then there's other guidelines, I should say, if your child doesn't have the severe problems.
Correct. If there's 2 other guidelines. Number 1, if your child has mild symptoms, in other words, mild eczema, or they have a family history of allergies, then we think adding peanut butter to their diet early at about 6 to 8 months of life makes good sense. That can either be done in the pediatrician's office with careful guidance. It can be sent to the specialist if we're especially worried. And it even can be done when those kids at home, where mom and dad could give a small amount of peanut butter, see if they tolerate it okay, and then add to it. But again, those are children who have low risk of a problem. We don't want the high-risk kids doing that, just the low risk. And then the third group is if you have no risk. You don't have any allergies in your family, there's no eczema in the family, there's no other food allergies in the family, that now we've been recommending a much earlier introduction of peanut into the diet, usually at about a year or under a year of age. And as the culture of the family or the desire of giving nuts and peanut products is indicated.
Okay, and that's good. My pediatrician I was sharing with you, at 6 months old, my child had no risk, said, shove a spoonful of peanut butter in his mouth and go from there, because that is part of what we're trying to do, right?
Although I would emphasize to the people who are watching, you'd probably start with way less than a teaspoon.
I guess I should have said, yeah, a little finger,
yes,
a little bit of it.
Try
Yeah.
a small amount first. If you tolerate more, then to add more. And with that group, the high-risk group, once we identify that they're not allergic, we'll put them on a peanut butter diet. Well, they'll have a teaspoon of peanut butter every day.
Okay.
And that's how we're able to decrease the development of peanut allergies by the chronic use of about a teaspoon daily for up to 5 years even.
Oh, all right. I say the peanut butter diet's a good way to go, in my opinion, right?
And there's another important point, because some parents have been worried about the health of peanut butter, and is it has too much calories or protein or fat, and it doesn't. And in fact, they've then looked at these children after being on peanut butter for 5 and 6 years and found them to be the same weight as other children. So you don't have to worry about the diet part.
All right, Dr. Friedman, all those new guidelines, of course, if your child has any kind of risk, of course, you want to talk to your doctor, talk to your physician and an allergy expert, of course, before you do any of this stuff. So
that makes good sense.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Sure, Rob.